I used to wake up every morning fighting laziness, and I would lose. So even though I wanted to be productive and log in, I would spend all my time doing nothing, wasting it. And I always felt guilty. I beat myself up about it. I hated it. But now it is 5:54 a.m. and I'm up doing the hard work of recording videos, and I'm loving every second of it. So what changed? Two things that I want to share with you so that you'll love the hard work instantly. You'll struggle less with laziness, and you'll see actual progress happening in your life. So the first thing we gotta cover is the society we are living in. I need to realize that the environment, really the society, is holding you down and making the hard work not fun. Something you don't want to do. It's making you lazy. So to make this more concrete, I was at work talking to my coworker. She needs some help. Called me on the phone. We got through it. But obviously, we started talking about other things, and we got on the subject of social media. And she's asking me how I've seen these memes, these new memes, all this stuff, these viral things. I told her straight up, I don't have social media on my phone, unless you count YouTube as social media. But even then, I'm not getting on YouTube like that. And when I told her that, she was shook. She was like, "Well, what do you do with your time? How do you spend your time? What do you do?" There's somebody in my life. I'm not gonna say who, because I don't know if they're watching this video. But I will literally watch them just sit all day watching TV, amusing themselves. I remember I was driving back home from work, and I passed a billboard where there's a big Pepsi can on it. And on the side were words, "Your town's best refreshments." When I thought water was a refreshment. Pepsi doesn't refresh you. Pepsi gives you diabetes. Pepsi rots your teeth. Pepsi kills you. But we're marketed to that. The society we are in is the main cause of why we don't like doing hard work, why we're lazy, because the society we're in pushes us to consume. It pushes us to do things that hurt our health. You know, if you walk out, at least for me, if I drive down the street, I'm gonna see 5 tobacco stores, McDonald's, Bojangles, Dunkin' Donuts. Well, not Dunkin' Donuts. I live in a small town, but I'm gonna see fast food restaurants up and down. I saw this long line at Chick-fil-A, like the long line. I'm like, dang, people want some Chick-fil-A. I drove past the gym, barely any cars there. So we don't even take care of our health, which is the biggest factor on how you're going to be able to have the energy to do this hard work and how you're going to love it. If your health isn't good, you're going to be lazy. But there's some more to it. But I say this all to say that we are in a society that wants us to just amuse ourselves to death. And you can see this. If you look around, most people, they spend their time on off the clock, watching TV, being on the phone, playing a game, going out to get drinks. They aren't doing anything, like any hobbies. They don't have any crafts. They're not trying to work on their skills. They're not trying to gain mastery. They're not trying to read books. They're not trying to do that. And it's because the society we're in teaches us to do the exact opposite. It teaches us the habits of just consuming high stimulating things. But the thing is, if all you're doing is entertaining yourself, when it comes to doing something that's small, like playing with a yo-yo, you're going to be bored. You're not going to want to do it because you're so used to getting highly stimulating things from the other sources of entertainment you get. So I need you to understand that if you want to love the hard work, if you want to struggle less with laziness, you have got to stop entertaining yourself so much. And there's a reason why you got to stop doing that, which we're going to get into with part 2. But I just want you to realize that this is so ingrained in us. I remember I was having lunch with my coworker when I worked at Walmart. And I asked her, "What do you do with your time?" And she literally told me, she looked me dead in the face and said, "When I get off the clock, I don't do anything but scroll on my phone and wait to go to work." And I know you've seen people who, on their days off work, all they do is watch TV. They don't go outside. They eat bad. They eat junk. And then they talk about what they want, but they don't do anything to get it. Why? It's because why would you... Imagine you're staring at a TV, right? And you're watching this very exciting series. And I come in and say, "Hey, do you want to go for a walk around the block with me?" You wouldn't do it. Why would you? A walk compared to watching TV? Watching TV is so much fun. Going for the walk is boring. But imagine I told you Imagine you were looking at a dry wall. You watching paint dry for 20 minutes, and it was so boring. You hated it. And I walk in and say, hey, do you want to go for a walk with me? You would jump at the leap. You would jump at the chance. Because going for a walk compared to watching paint dry is so much fun. And that's what I'm trying to get to happen. That's what I'm trying to switch for you. I want you to be so bored because you're not entertaining yourself constantly that when you think about doing the hard work, you jump at the chance to do it. Like for me, I don't have a TV in my room. I have a standing desk. This is a desk. This is the only thing I can do to have fun. I don't have games on my phone. I don't have social media. I don't have anything to entertain myself with. So when I woke up this morning and I thought, what I'm going to do, recording videos just seemed obvious to me because it's fun, because it's the only thing I can do that gives me pleasure. Because I took away everything else. I took away the excessive consumption of just trying to entertain myself. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So the second thing we need to talk about is dopamine. Now, dopamine is a chemical inside of your body that we all can influence. And it is basically the motivational chemical. Now, I've already kind of hinted at what this does. And before, when I asked you to imagine watching TV and imagine watching paint dry and then going for a walk. If you're watching TV, you're not going to want to watch paint. You're not going to want to go for a walk. But if you're watching paint dry, you'll want to go for a walk. The reason why the things you want to do change depending on what you're doing is because dopamine. Now, this is the motivational chemical in your body that you lose when you experience pleasure. Now, the less motivational chemicals inside of you, the harder it will be for you to do the work that most people would see as hard. Like if I had less dopamine inside of me, it would be hard for me to sit here and focus recording videos this early in the morning. I wouldn't have even been able to get up this early. It's 6 or 1 a.m. now because my dopamine would have been so low. And that's hard work. To get up in the morning, to get dressed, and to get in front of this camera and speak, it is hard work. I would have been lazy. But because my dopamine is high, I can do this. I'm going to be sitting here talking for an hour. I'm recording 4 videos. I'm going to be sitting here talking for an hour, and it's okay to me. It's fun. Now, the world we're living in, like I said, promotes us to consume. It promotes us to not take care of our health. It promotes us to just amuse ourselves. All of that is very pleasurable. So you're feeling so much pleasure every single day, constantly, especially people who just watch TV all day, who's scrolling constantly. They're experiencing so much pleasure. But at the same time, they're losing so much of the motivational chemicals that when it comes down to now, they want to work on their goals. They want to work out more. They want to start painting. They want to read. They don't do it. Why? Because that stuff is hard to them. Because they don't have the motivational chemicals inside them that will make it easy. So what you got to do is get more dopamine. Get more motivational chemicals. But how can you get more motivational chemicals? By living a low stimulating life, by getting rid of your TV, by getting rid of your game, by getting social media and games off your phone, by living like your ancestors did 100 years ago before we had all this technology. What did they do? Think about it. They would go out to the tavern and socialize. They would train. They would work on themselves. I mean, think about the Enlightenment period when they just focused on creating. That's what you got to do. And it's going to be hard. It really will. Because we are in a society that does not want us to live a life that will keep our motivational chemicals inside of us. Because the less motivated you are, the easier you are to control. The easier you are to be a sheep. And that's what the society we're living in wants you to be. They want to control you. So if you want to have that experience where you think about the work you want to do, the goals you're working on, and you want to be able to feel excited to do that, like I am right now, live a boring life. And what is boring? Boring is just low stimulating. That's it. And a question you can ask yourself to make this easy is whenever you decide to do something, say or ask, will my ancestors 100 years ago do this? So for example, let's say you want to read a book. Will my ancestors 100 years ago do this? Yeah, they had access to books. Cool. Let's say you want to watch TV. Will my ancestors 100 years ago do this? They didn't have TVs, so no, they wouldn't. Let's say you want to go outside for a walk. while listening to music in your headphones. When my ancestors do this, well, they would go for the walk because they had access to walk. But would they listen to music? No, because they didn't have like headphones, instant access to music. Now, music is it's a tricky subject because they did have instruments and stuff. They could play things around. And also, music is just kind of it's not like a very high stimulating thing. So I'm not saying you can never listen to music. But all I'm saying is if you ask yourself that question more often, you'll be led back onto the path you're supposed to be on, where it's like low stimulating enough that you won't lose so much of your motivational chemicals. We are not supposed to be exposed to all this stimulation. Our brains cannot handle this. And when we are given all this stimulation, our brains shut down and we become lazy, and anything that we want to achieve that will bring success to our lives, you won't do it because we're going to see it as hard work. But once you switch over to living like your ancestors, where you spend your time going for walks, doing hobbies, reading books, living a slow, gentle life instead of constantly amusing yourself, the hard work where you want to work out more, where you want to work on a skill, where you want to improve yourself, where you want to gain mastery, you will actually do it. Because compared to the things you do on a day-to-day basis, that stuff will be exciting. But if what you do on a day-to-day basis is this all day, the other stuff will not be exciting. So realize the world you're in and get more dopamine. And if you need more help on getting more dopamine, I have a guidebook on dopamine in my description. Click that. And if you want more help, one-on-one help, then click the first link in my bio. I got you. But regardless, if you do this, you will instantly love hard work because you have the motivational chemicals inside of you to love it. You got this.